So Dale's making his lunch like he has for 38 years. Because I don't do it for him. To go to work. Those days are coming to an end, I suppose.
Yes, they are.
How do you feel about that?
Scared.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not gonna have a paycheck coming.
But you've planned, prepared.
Yeah, but we're not gonna have a paycheck coming.
True. I think we'll be all right. Come on, in the uniform.
Sort of. Yeah.
Mostly for your uniform.
Mostly a uniform.
That you've wore a uniform of some form or another your whole work life.
That's right. Even in the bedroom sometimes, huh, honey?
Sometimes. Woohoo! Lucky me.
You know, I'm only going to do this about 7 or 8 more times in my life.
Do what?
Go to work. I mean, we got this trip, maybe one more in August, 3 or 4 in September, 3 or 4 in October. That's it. We're done.
And I know that brings a lot of mixed feelings.
Yes. Yes,
Well, don't die now.
just realized I need a different pair of glasses.
Uh-oh. See, it is time to retire. Okay, we're at Pepper Park Beach. Is that the name of this beach?
Pepper Park Beach. Just a side note, this beach, and clear down south of Fort Pierce, is where a lot of the young men trained before they left America to go save Europe.
Dale's counting down the number of weeks that he has left to fly.
I think I have about 7 trips left in my career.
Along with that, we're planning the final flight, and there's a lot of people that have agreed to join us on that flight, so we're feeling excited, but a lot of things about that. That flight will be on the 22nd of October from Nashville to Orlando. Our daughter Brianna and her husband Davey are about to welcome their 3rd child, a little boy. His name will be Milo. And he will be born on the 24th of September. So we'll be out in San Diego for a while to enjoy and help out with Luca and Margot. And so that'll be good.
Amen.
And then October is the big retirement month. And
It's also a vacation month.
yeah,
Mexico.
we end the month by going to Mexico. The last 2 weeks, well, the last week of October and first week of November. And then you're retired.
Done. They kicked me out. No more paycheck.
Which is a thing to think about, deal with.
Because I've had a paycheck since I was, I don't know, 12,
Yeah.
13 years old. Started my first job with Dairy Queen. I think I've had a paycheck ever since.
Pretty great. We finished our beach walk and we came to one of our very favorite places in Fort Pierce, Little Jim's. Have a Corona and some lunch. So our next step is to get out there and look at some boats. And I maybe should explain a little bit more of the community that we're part of. It's called Blue Water Cruising. it is helps us with the education component, but also ongoing support. So we're on calls every Thursday, most Thursday and Sunday nights.
All hands Q&A, and don't miss it. It's a good time. Great that you guys are on these calls, but definitely want you on that one as well. So, all right, Lorelai, over to you.
Where there's usually a teaching component, but there's also just opportunities to connect with other people at our stage in the boat buying process, those who have just bought boats and are getting ready to set sail, and those who are actually out on the water. So it's a really good network for that purpose. And there's also an individual who will help us pretty much step by step in the good catch, dude, in the whole process. And we have our assignment right now is to be on Yacht World and different places where we find boats for sale and populate a spreadsheet which will help us more accurately compare one boat to another. So you've started that spreadsheet, haven't you?
I have.
And what all is involved with that?
Basically, you take there's like 3 or 4 sites that online sites that list yachts that are kind of similar to what we want. We know we want a specific range or length. We know that
Which
we
is
want
what? What is our range?
something between 45, maybe 44 to 60 feet. Longer for us would be better. Something in the 48 to 55 foot range. With an owner's cabin, owner's hull, owner's edition, however you want to call it. Not too old, but the things we're really looking for are, we'd like to buy a boat that is currently already being cruised, so it has everything on it. You know, maybe we'll have to recondition something, but it's got water makers, it's got solar, it's got all the lithium batteries, it's got all the things on it that we want to put on a boat. We might just have to upgrade some of them. So that's what we're looking for. But it's basically a matter of looking at listings and filling out that spreadsheet with boats that would be desirable for us to do.
And it helps us to begin to narrow the field, because we could look at all the boats out there all day long and maybe not feel like we're getting closer to the boat we want, or be confused by all that's out there. So by doing the spreadsheet, their point in having us do it is we need to narrow the field. And that way we can all keep our eyes out for that boat or a few of those boats that make the top of our list, just so we can, more accurately get the boat that we want.
And then once we start, we kind of narrow that down, and then we get on different boats, like Tammy said, we will be able to say this or this boat, 1 or 2 or 3 boats are the ones that we want, and then we just start keeping our eyes open until that happens, until we find the boat, and we are ready to go. We have financing, we have insurance all set up. So we can say yes, decide write an offer, go see the boat, write an offer on the boat, and not have to hem and haw, but we've done a lot of our work beforehand, just so it's like, yeah, it's time to do it.
And we will have the support of our blue water cruising community. One individual probably in particular who will be there, not just send us out, but will be there with us, looking at the boat with us, pointing out things that might be great about the boat or things that we might be concerned about. And then, all the things that happen once you make an offer, and then you have a sea trial, and then you take the boat out of the water. All of those things can be really intimidating, except that we know that we'll have the support of a professional set of eyes who's looking out for our best interests as our buyer's representative. It just makes us feel a lot more confident and less frightened about the things that we don't know that we could maybe mistakenly overlook.
Their tagline is, "You don't know what you don't know." And so this community is experienced sailors helping inexperienced sailors, fill in those knowledge gaps of, you don't know it, but we know it, kind of ideas. So
and,
that's really what we're doing.
it's a great concept. I mean, they started the business around it's the Wild West out there when it comes to boat buying, especially in Florida. Let's help people navigate this better and not spend more money on boats than they need to, not fall into the trap of new boats are the only good boats. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for that ability to be supported in that way. And we know the support will be ongoing. And I can see us in the future hosting future blue water people on our boat, and anybody for that matter. So that's sort of our next step. Where did the dream of sailing come from? Are we crazy to pursue something like that is not typical? And I will tell you that it wasn't originally my dream. Since I met Dale, he's talked about wanting to sail and sailing around the world, and I felt intimidated by that. I didn't really know what that meant for him. But I also tried really hard from the very beginning of our marriage not to shut down dreams. Some of them come true, but a lot of them are good to have because it's good for your mental health to dream about things and pursue things and be curious about things. So I didn't ever want to squelch the dream, but you have to remember that he was a young fighter pilot when I met him. And prior to that, some of the things he loved to do, skiing in deep powder and things that I wasn't exposed to. And my few attempts at skiing were not good. Like, I was never going to join him in deep powder. The other thing that was always interesting to me about Dale is, he's been through a lot in his life. He's had very big, responsible jobs and positions, but he's a very even guy. He's a very emotionally pretty even, and the way he expresses joy is just a step above his even character, and his sadness and disappointment is just a step below this even line that he keeps. And my personality tends to be a little more extreme. Though I don't think I'm an extreme person, I do have bigger expressions of joy and maybe deeper expressions of sorrow and disappointment. But when he would talk about skiing in deep powder, I would see this glimmer in his eye that was even higher than anything I had seen from him. And I'm like, dang, I'm never going to be in the moment when those things are happening for him. And I would really love to be, but I'm not going to ski deep snow. Same with his career, flying an F-16 and spinning around and dogfighting and highs and lows of all of that. I would see the glimmer of hope, but I was only going to be able to witness that from a distance and never be in the moment watching him do it and watching the elation and joy on his face. So the sailing thing, I didn't know for him if that meant danger and going to scary places and fighting terrible storms and conquering the universe on a sailboat, which sounded frightening to me. It didn't sound like fun to me. And so I didn't squelch the dream. He would talk about it from time to time, but in recent years, since people make YouTubes about their lives, he began to follow several people that he admired out on the water. And what I realized is that they were families. They were people not fighting storms. Quite the contrary. They were making weather the determining factor as to whether or not they would go from place A to place B. And if the weather was bad, they weren't going. And so I began to understand the dream a little more. And initially, I have to say, it's like, okay, you want to take me on a permanent vacation where I get to take my house from one beautiful exotic place to another. Okay, I'm starting to buy into this dream. And it sounds like something I could do. And then we joined Blue Water Cruising, which is a training opportunity for people who want to live the cruising lifestyle. And really the training is somewhat about sailing, but more about making sure this is a good choice for you, a good fit for you. What do you want your life to look like? Can you afford it? What does insurance look like? Where should you sail? All the things that you really need to think through and make a plan for before you just go buy a boat and do it. Because a lot of people that just go buy a boat often don't realize the initial dream they had, or one person likes it and another person doesn't, and they didn't take the time to figure that out ahead of time, and they don't keep the boat for very long, which is what we're counting on as we start looking for boats, that we'll find a really good used boat that somebody put all their heart and soul into and decided it wasn't for them in a short time. So I guess all of that is to say it was his dream. And all the things that really piqued his enjoyment, I've watched from afar, so to speak. But now this dream is not just his dream. It is also my dream. And part of what makes me so excited about it is that I'm a participant in it. I'm in the planning stages, and I will be there when we implement this dream. And I'll get to watch the highs and lows. I'll be part of all of that. And maybe for the first time in our married life, we've been team players all along, so don't get me wrong, but to be part of an adventure at the same level as him feels thrilling, and I want it so much. And so we are learning. We don't know what we're doing, but I'm so excited about it. And he's, retiring. That brings with it some concern about not bringing in a paycheck, and I'm sure he'll feel a loss over a purpose that he's had for his whole life, an identity he's had for his whole life. But I think moving right into an adventurous new chapter is a good way to navigate that, and I'm really hopeful that we continue to learn and continue to plan and continue to talk and be honest about it. And even if it's a short dream, that we'll pursue it, that we'll go for it, that however long it lasts, that we'll learn things about ourselves, we'll even add to our experience as a married couple, memories and experiences that we will hold on to for a lifetime. So that's how the dream got to where it is, and I'm excited to see where it ends up.
Okay, honey, where are we?
We're on Upper Park Beach, having a low tide beach walk. No, I think we missed low tide by a little bit.
Yeah.
Which means the water keeps pushing us up the hill where the sand gets softer.
Yeah.
Which brings my heart rate up a little high.
All right. What's happening on Monday?
Monday. We are meeting with Chris Knapp from Blue Water Cruising, our buyer's representative, to climb on some boats. We're going to start about 8:30 in the morning, try to be done about 3.
Where are we meeting, Matt?
We'll drive to Fort Lauderdale, so we'll have to get up kind of early, but then we miss Fort Lauderdale traffic, hopefully. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be helpful.
I guess I should say, so is there anything else about today that is interesting or unique or different? All right, we're getting towards the 1st of October. I have 3 trips left. 3, count of 1, 2, 3 trips left, and then the final flight. And so we are into the final stretch of before we retire and start this new adventure.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to the next step. Chris Knapp on Monday is the first kind of big step we're taking. Well, we've taken a couple of big steps already, but this is
the next one, we're going to try and jump on maybe 5 or 6 boats. You know, we have some ideas what we want. We probably have a better idea about what kind of equipment we want on the boat.